The laugh reached me before the words did. A soft, rolling sound. Expensive. Polished. The kind people make when they feel safe laughing at someone else. I stood near the balcony doors, a glass of untouched wine sweating in my hand, watching my wife glow beneath the chandelier. Janet, radiant, elevated. She hadn't looked at me once all evening. Her boss tapped the microphone. The room quieted. I felt it then. That familiar tightening behind my eyes. The warning my body gives me right before something irreversible happens. Janet's success, he said, smiling, is even more impressive when you consider she had absolutely no support at home. A pause. A calculated one. She managed all this despite being married to a cleaner who can barely read or write. Laughter exploded. Not sharp. Not cruel. Worse, comfortable. I waited for her to stop it. Janet lifted her glass instead. "It's true," she said lightly. "He's been holding me back for years." Something inside me went very still. Not angry. Not hurt. Clear. I looked down at my hands. The hands that signed acquisition papers. The hands that owned every smiling face in this room. I thought of the call I'd received that morning. Unknown number. One sentence. "You should come tonight. You deserve to see who your wife really is." I took my first sip of wine. And finally, smiled. Janet used to practice speeches in front of me. Years ago. Before she learned how to speak only to people who mattered. I remembered sitting at the kitchen table, correcting her slides, rewriting her arguments, simplifying complex financial models she didn't yet understand. She'd call me her anchor. Then one promotion happened. Then another. And slowly, I became invisible. She stopped asking my opinion. Stopped mentioning my name at work. Started coming home later, smelling like unfamiliar cologne and ambition. I told myself it was normal. Successful people shed weight. Sometimes that weight is human. But there were details that didn't fit. Her phone always face down. The sudden contempt in her voice when she corrected my grammar in public. The way she flinched when I touched her arm at company events. The night I asked if she was ashamed of me, she laughed. "Don't be dramatic," she said. "You're just simple." Simple. That word stayed with me. Then came the email. An internal invite forwarded accidentally. Or deliberately. Promotion party. Private remarks included, "I wasn't supposed to be there. I was the prop." The contrast. The joke. As I listened to the applause around us, I realized something colder than betrayal had taken root. This wasn't infidelity. This was erasure. I didn't confront her. Men who rush for truth only get pieces. I wanted the whole structure. So I watched. I watched her boss speak to her like an equal. I watched the board members nod at her opinions I recognized. I watched her accept praise built on foundations she never knew existed. I checked records. Quietly. Corporate registries. Shell companies. Layers designed to protect anonymity. I'd built the company that bought the firm she worked for 3 years ago. A silent acquisition. Hands-off leadership. She didn't know. No one did. I read internal memos where she mocked the old cleaner husband. Messages where she framed herself as self-made. Victimized. Unburdened. I kept my routines unchanged. Woke early. Made tea. Cleaned my own messes. Let her underestimate me. The most dangerous thing in the room is the person no one is watching. By the time the party reached its peak, my decision was already made. Not to expose her. To let her expose herself. The laughter faded. I set my glass down and stepped forward. No announcement. No theatrics. Just presence. That's interesting, I said, my voice calm enough to cut glass. The room turned. Janet stiffened. Because the company you all work for? I paused. I own it. Silence collapsed inward. Her boss blinked. Someone laughed nervously. Then stopped. I took out my phone and placed it on the table. Acquisition documents. Signatures. Dates. Janet's face drained of color. You said you could barely read, she whispered. I said nothing, I replied. You said everything. Her mouth opened. No sound came out. For the first time in years, she looked at me. Really looked. And understood exactly how badly she had miscalculated. I didn't fire her. That would have been mercy. I thanked her boss for the speech, commended the team for honesty, announced a company-wide ethics review. Then I left. The next morning, my phone rang. 71 times. Janet's daughter-in-law was the loudest. If you want to join Thanksgiving, she shouted over voicemail, come wash the dishes. I replied with one word. Enjoy. I sent a single photo to the family group chat. A terrace, snow, a glass wall overlooking a Swiss valley. My villa. The calls stopped. Then resumed. Panic sounds different when it's earned. Janet lost her position quietly. Her reputation followed. People don't like mirrors. I don't hate her. Hatred requires connection. I feel something cleaner. Distance. I sit now in silence, watching snow erase footprints outside my window. The world simplifies when you stop begging to be seen. She wanted me small. She needed me invisible. That was her mistake. The truth doesn't scream. It waits. And when it finally speaks, it doesn't need to raise its voice at all.